Greetings. Welcome once again to the Yang style long-form Tai Chi class on PTTV. I'm Michael Gilman. Well, this is a wonderful, beautiful week and beautiful weather, lovely day. And we're moving into one of the most beautiful of all the Tai Chi movements, Fair Lady Works at Shuttles. We reviewed it, or sort of previewed it last week a little bit, and this week we're going to look at it closely. We'll, of course, as always, just run through last week's movements and then add in these new movements. All right, so I think we're ready. Turn the waist. Feet solidly on the floor. Now, really using your inner mind, picture your skeleton and picture the bones of your feet placed solidly on the floor. Yeah? Picture the alignment of your skeleton and that your spine, everything is erect, the spine and the head is being lifted, and everything is revolving around your center. Nice and easy. Letting the shoulders stretch, warming up the torso muscles, getting yourself and your body at the same place at the same time. Okay, rolling down. Rolling up. Shake. Shake. Loose and free. Loose and free. Good. Shake a leg. Shake a leg. Now again, I really encourage you to get up and do these movements with me. You know, it'll be good for you. Okay, aligning, Wu Chi stance. Feet pressing down, knees soft. Pelvis slightly tucked under, which allows, we want the low back to be a little straighter than you're probably normally used to it being. Top of the head lifting with the chin slightly tucked under. Hands, shoulders and ribs hanging, arms hanging. The fingers are held to the sides of the thighs hanging. Breathing in and out through the nose, directing the breath to the lower belly. Take an integration breath. All right. So I think as a warm-up Qigong exercise, we'll do gathering the Yang Chi, the cosmic Qi, into the Dantien. We'll then gather the Yin Chi or Earth Qi to the Dantien, and then we'll mix them up and get them kind of all blended together, shall we? This is a nice thing to do. It's simple. And we'll do 3 breaths for each. So the bringing down the Yang Chi is just like a integration breath or Shogong, only the concentration and focus is on bringing the energy to the lower belly and leaving it there. All right, so from your Wu Chi stance, inhale, open yourself up, Imagine gathering this universal chi, inviting it down through the body, feeling it move down through the body. And it fills the lower pelvis. Good, that's one. Inhale. Two, one more time. Okay, we will then bring the yin chi up from the earth. So gathering down, bending over gently and easily, gathering, inviting the energy up through the bottoms of the feet, up the legs, to the lower belly. One. Inhale. Two, one more time. Okay, hold your hands in front of your belly. Now we're going to blend it. And we're going to, just sort of like a front-loading washing machine, we're going to imagine sort of black and white blending together. And you want to feel inside your belly something moving around. So it goes down the bottom, up one side, over the top, down the other side, and around, and circle. And use your imagination at first. It takes a while, most probably before you start to feel something inside moving. Good, and then the other direction. Feel this energy move around your belly. The hands are just helping your mind focus on the belly. Good. Then let it settle. And once more, Shogong, smoothing everything out. Now the intention is to just smooth everything, any rough edges with your mind, energy down. All right, very good. Now, the breath is, of course, the most important physiological necessity, and it's something that we can control. And you know, as I said, you can go without food for a month or two. You can go without water for days and days, but you can't go without air and breath. So The more you breathe, the more vital life force you have. So take the time to just breathe. Focus on your breath. And particularly go outside in the summertime, well, anytime. Go outside, particularly in the morning, is the very, very best time where the day is just starting. You know, the air is really clean. And go out and just interact with the environment and invite it in. You know, we're such a part of it, and we see ourselves as separate most of the time. But in doing Qigong exercises, we try and blend our energies with the energies of the universe. And sometimes we accomplish it and sometimes we don't. And when we do, we feel really in tune. Very, 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 very good for us. So just go out and do it. Of course, another really wonderful time, one of the other optimum times, is sunset, is another time. The energy is really calming down and becoming very, very much more relaxed. So that's a good time. So go out for a little walk after dinner and breathe a bit. Okay, so let's review. We'll review partition of the wild horse's mane, and then the grasping the bird's tail and the new single whip. All right, so we'll go from the back first. From single whip. Grasp the bird's tail. Now, we're going from diagonal single whip, excuse me. Diagonal single whip. Inviting the energy in. Step behind it with your right and open. Splitting the energy. Coming back. Neutralize the energy over to the right side. Step behind and split, open the energy once again. Once more, neutralize this time over to the left side. Come to your center. Step behind and open. Ward off left, coming back. Again, neutralize over to the side. Step behind, and this time bonging away. Pong. Right push upward. Neutralize. Around. Bringing all the energy over to onto the left side. Step. And this time, remember, we're catching the wrist and the elbow. A little bit different, and bringing the arm up. We then roll back, press, and push. Single whip, coming back, turning the toe into straight, making the hook hand, neutralize the energy underneath the right arm. Then, striking out with the hook hand as you using your torso to turn, keeping the weight on the right foot, pivot on the left toe. Make sure this is coming out from the center. Then, stepping straight and coming up and down. Okay. The only thing that's slightly tricky, all these ward-off lefts and right push upwards tend to be a little tricky because they're kind of simple and just a little bit different than what you've already been through. So it's just slightly different enough that it becomes a little confusing. If it's very different, then it's not so confusing. So now watch once again. After we've done partition of I'll do it facing this camera. After we've done partition of the wild horse's mane. So it would be on this side. Ward off, coming back. This is right. So this side. Ward off left, coming back, neutralize. Step around. Bring the energy over to your center. You're basically in center position. Step behind and ward off. Now, this one's a little bit different. Right push upwards. You sink back and open the energy. Remember, you were opening the energy to the right side. It's like the elbow sinking. You don't want to bring this, when you go back, don't bring the left hand back with you. The left hand stays and you just move your body away from it. So you're not bringing the left hand with you. You are moving your body away from it. Okay? So sinking back, opening up. Then replace your left foot and bring everything over to the left side. And this time we're going to catch the palm and the forearm or elbow. And then we use that arm bar, remember, and lift and bring the energy over. Just right push upward. Then roll back and press forward and push. Okay? Now there's this single whip. Now, every movement, the wonderful thing about practicing Tai Chi is that we learn to use our belly to do everything. You know, this action in this single whip, we neutralize and lead in, and then it's just a little bit of a turn. It's like it's kind of a twisting motion out from the belly. It's not just the arm. No, it's the whole body doing these actions. Okay? And that's what makes Tai Chi so beautiful to watch, because there's this whole body doing every action as opposed to just the arm. Join. See? Now, my body is leading the energy into this empty space. Then the body, after I've gathered the energy into the right leg, it's released back to where it came from. Then we're stepping to our new direction off to the left, and this is sweeping up, comes up and down. Okay, so I think we're going to move into Fair Lady Works at Shuttles. Beautiful movement. It's composed of 4 parts, right, and left. The two of them have the similar application, and 2 others have similar application. So there's 4 movements, and 2 are similar and 2 are similar. Now, let me demonstrate it first, and then Rose Soini is going to help me as I explain the applications for you. So the direction we're going to be going is starting in this direction here. We're just finishing our single whip. So 1, we come into Pong. 2, we relax. 3, we step around to the right, basically into center position. We then step off slightly to the left, open, and push. This part looks a bit like fan through the back. Okay, then she's threatening me from the back. So first we come into center position and turn and look behind us. We then step slightly to the right, open, and push. Next, this looks a lot like Partition of the Wild Horse's Mane or Ward Off Left. We neutralize around. Then, doing the same as number 1, we open and push. And this is the same as number 2. Roll back first. Look behind you. This is going to block, and we're going to then continue over. And just in case we get to it, I'm not sure if we will. We're going to repeat ward off left, Very similar to what we've been doing. Weighted foot turn right, push upward. Roll back. Press forward. And push. And then we're going to do another single whip, but I think we won't have time for that today. Okay, so let me invite Rose out, and so we can demonstrate this for you. Greetings, Rose. Okay, so in partition of the, in Fair Lady. Now, the action basically, I'll show you how we get into it. Basically, she's pushing in, and I neutralize it, then open her up and attack. So Fair Lady works at shuttles. I don't know if you've ever done weaving, or any of you at home done weaving, but when I went to Iran one time and watched them weave carpets. And what they do, what they do is open, I can't remember the term, there's a warp or something that all these things are opened, and then the shuttle has the new string is pushed through it, and then they clump this down, and they push the shuttle through, and then clump it down, and they do this weaving back and forth, and each time they push the shuttle through. So this movement is called Fair Lady Works at Shuttles because it's like we're opening the thing and pushing the shuttle through. Okay, so the first one is, let's do it facing the other direction. This is the opposite direction of the way we would do it, but just so you can see clearly. So after we've done single whip, she's over there threatening. So I turn to basically be on guard. Pong, another translation for pong is on guard. So this is, I'm sort of basically ready. They're basically ready. Okay, so now she's at pushing in and wants to push me over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to neutralize her and close her up. You see? As I neutralize her and close her up, I'm going to step behind her. And at the same time I step behind her, I bring this hand open and open her up and attack in. So it's neutralized to the side, closing her up. So I have this, I could also be attacking her here. But she's probably not going to like this thing, so she's going to try and escape, right, as always. So as she tries to escape, you see I seal her escape and then come in and push her. So that's the first one. The second one is she's behind me. Right? Somebody is again attacking from the rear. And so it's good I've got a monitor so I can see her, but other than that I would have to sort of look at. Okay, so the first part is basically coming into center position first from somebody who's behind me. Right? So I'm here and I turn. Now, as she chops down, I offer this blocking thing. So as the chop comes down, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. If I offer a nice round surface, her energy is just going to come off. If I try and block it like this, well then I just take all that energy right on me and either break my arm or hers, or this comes crashing into me. So when the force comes in, we offer this round thing and off it goes. So then as it starts down, I then open her and attack her once again. And that's number two. Number three has the same basic application as number one, that I'm going to neutralize around, step behind her, but I'm already here, and she's in front of me as opposed to sort of being around. So as she punches in, I sink back, neutralize. Now this looks like we did when we did step up, deflect downward, and punch, right? I take her over here. Now she's closed up, I'm comfortable, so I can do the same thing. Step behind her, then open her up and attack her. And that's number 3. And number 4 is she's back behind me once again, and we do the same thing that I did for number 2. Okay? And then the ward off after this, if we get to it, the ward off is what I love this ward off. So she's coming in to my center with that hand, and we neutralize it down. We neutralize it, step, and attack. So I've been really thinking a lot lately in all these classes we've been working on is when she comes in, you know, it's like Rose studies Aikido, and it's the same principle. We never want to deal with an energy head on. We always want to flank it. You know, in a sort of a war situation, you'd never see two armies, I mean, in the old days they did, but you never see two armies just face off again in a field and then just charge each other. Nowadays, it's you got to sneak around to the sides. So when she comes in, you see, here, I'm sneaking behind her. So now I have a lot better chance. So this little, what we call double stop, I neutralize down, this seals her, step in, and then bong her away. And right push upward just follows that, and I just follow up with another attack. Okay, well that's it. So thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so as you can see, we move around completely 360 degrees in this. This is the only movement that we do that. But if we think about it as 4 different pieces, 4 different movements, I think it'll be fairly easy. Okay, so let's work on the foot movement for number 1 first. Number 1 is the hardest of all of them, just to kind of get into it. All right, so let's look at the foot movement first. So we're coming from single whip. We have our left foot forward. We're in left foot bow stance. Okay, 1, shift the weight back, turning the waist, turn in the left toe to 90, straight towards the wall, sinking the weight onto the right foot. Okay, once again. 1, shift back, turn in the toe, sinking. Now there's a great tendency here to bring the energy kind of too far back. I'm no longer in my right root. I'm out, and now there's a lot of tension. So you have to be very careful that you come into more or less the inside of the right foot here. 1. 2, shift the weight to the left, turning to the right and pivot. Now I'm basically facing to the corner. 1, shift back, turn in the toe, I'm facing directly in my beginning direction. Shift to the right, pivot on the toe, to the left, excuse me, and now I'm facing the corner. Next, lift up the foot, replace it down to the corner further to the right, shift the weight onto it, roll up the back or left toe, and turn your torso to face the direction the right knee is headed. One, coming back, turn straight to the wall. 2, shift, pivot, turning to the right, facing the corner. Replace the foot out. It's going to face to the other corner. Shift the weight onto this foot, bringing your torso over, roll up on the back left toe. Next, step out the left foot, not quite to the corner, but over in that direction. And you have to be very careful to step wide enough to the left side. Now, if I do this facing this corner, or this camera, excuse me, when I'm coming to see if I can ever figure this out here, forget it. That's a tricky, I'll figure it out later, but not at the second. Okay, so once again, 1, turn. 2, shift and pivot. 3, step around to the right, bring your weight, sink into the right quad. 4, step slightly to the left, opening up the stance. And finally, shift the weight onto the left foot, turn in the back toe. All right, once again, let's review this. The foot movement is definitely the trickiest part of this movement. The hand movements are not difficult at all. You just need to kind of get the sense of the direction here. 1, shift and turn to the straight. 2, shift left, pivot, opening to the corner. 3, replace, step down, bringing your weight onto the right foot. 4, step in towards slightly to the left and opening up wide enough to the left so you don't narrow your stance. And finally, carry on, shift, and you should probably have to turn in the back toe. Okay. So let's do the hand movements with this, all right? One, shift back. The left hand comes down in front of the body with you. The right forms a warding off palm towards the corner. You just open up the whip hand. Okay, again. 1, the elbow of the right hand relaxes and the palm turns to face inward. Elbow sinking. Left hand's in front of the crotch. I'll do it this way so you can see that. 1. I'm on guard. Yeah? Yeah? Once again. 1, shifting to the right, on guard. 2, shifting, we keep the same basic hand position here. I'm still sort of on guard there. 1, 2. Now I haven't yet joined with her energy, so I'm still basically kind of on guard. At this point is when Rose was going to push on me, all right? Okay, once again. 1, turn in. Sink into the right leg. 2, sink into the left leg. All right? Just relaxed, comfortable on the left leg. Now, 3, as we replace and bring the weight over onto the right leg, we just come over into center position, basically. And step. Well, no, not step yet. Okay? One, on guard. 2, on guard. 3, replace. Bring everything over to the right, basically in center position. Now, this is an important point here. As you step, the hand lifts. As you step, you open. As you step, you open. The right hand is not doing anything particular at this point. As you step, you open. One, on guard. Weight on right. 2, right on left, on guard. Just touching down the toe. 3, replace, bring everything over to the right. Step and open. And finally, the left hand is going to, after it opens, it's just going to turn to face palm outward. And I move my body, it stays. It doesn't look like basically I'm pulling it in. Well, basically it's staying there and I'm moving my body into it. You see? At the same time, the other hand is coming out just like it did for brush knees and all the rest. So at the end of the movement, it looks a lot like fan through the back, kind of through the other side. The hand is up slightly overhead high. You don't want it in front of your face. The other hand comes to your center. Right? Shoulders relaxed. Don't lift the elbows up. Keep the elbows sinking down. And there's a really strong relationship between the two palms. It's like, you know, I'm on the inside of a balloon or something, and I can feel pressing outward on both hands. Okay. Once again. 1, turn in the toe. 2, shift, pivot onto the left on guard. 3, replace the right foot. Shift the weight onto the right, roll up on the left toe, coming into center. Now, I'm basically facing to the corner, which is behind the direction I started. And next, open and step, and finally push. Okay? Now, to probably confuse you a little, I'll do it facing the other direction. One, turn in on guard. 2, on guard. 3, join now, lead the energy. I'm going to actually add this hand, as I go to pull her, I'm going to pull her a little bit, and as I pull her, that's when I step and open her, and finally come in. Now, hopefully by now you realize that the process of doing all these movements, there's a very distinct process. Join with the incoming energy. Neutralize the incoming energy. Lead this energy into emptiness. Add a little off-balance pull of your own. Then return the energy. There's no way in Tai Chi that I can attack anybody without first going through a whole neutralization process. So when you look at these movements, you look at the philosophy of Tai Chi, there's no way that you can aggressively move out. You are reacting to situations and dealing with them in an appropriate fashion. And we're dealing with them in the least offensive way possible. Even though some of these movements, when I've showed you applications, I mean, some of these applications can be very terrible. But our philosophy is always do the least you need to do to control the situation. That's why we do a lot of, in Tai Chi, well, not so much in this basic course, but you'll see later on, a lot of joint work so that you can control the joint and you don't have to hurt the person. You just take it to the place where they feel uncomfortable and they don't want to then, do anything to you. So, first, your attention comes, you join with the energy, you lead the energy, neutralizing it, then add a little off-balance pull, then generally you step behind it or to the side of it, and finally deal with it by usually throwing it away or over your leg or something. All right? So keeping that in mind, once again, let's look at this. First, my attention moves to guarding myself. Now, Rose is pushing, so now I join. I neutralize and lead her, closing her up. Then I add a little pull and step behind her and open her, and finally then bring the energy out. Okay, so that's number 1. So let's do number 2. Foot movement for number 2. We're going to go back behind ourselves. Right? So we're going to come all the way around. So let's look at the foot movement. 1, the foot movement is basically the same we just did. 1, turn, and shift, turning in the toe. 2, shift to the left, pivot, and open. And this time we're just going to step directly towards this, which will be now on our right-hand side. We open and step to the right, slightly to the right of straight to that wall, and shift the weight, turn the waist, turn in the back toe. Now, it's my experience that there's a couple of places there that people get a little bit off balance. The first place is in turning in the toe to 90. You really want to make sure that when you're coming back, you're turning in this left toe, turn it to be straight into, now we're facing the opposite direction of where we started. Then shift and pivot. Now that's not too hard, that's pretty much what we just did. Now this is the piece that's a little bit tricky because ideally I want to be stepping from where this right toe is now over behind this person that's over there. In the beginning, what I want you to do is open your hip and sort of scribe a little bit of an arc on the floor with this right foot, keeping your weight on your left foot, opening your pelvis. Then step slightly to the right and shift and turn in the back toe. Okay. Now, in the ideal world, it looks like this. 1, shift back, turn into 90. Again, don't come too far off to the right. 2, pivot and open. 3, from here, you want to step towards your new direction, sinking the weight deeper into the left foot, and finally shift the weight. Now what tends to happen on big steps like that is you fall. People tend to, now here, fall over there. So you have to be very careful. It takes a lot of strength. By now, if you're practicing, you should have the strength in these legs to hold you. So you're coming back, turn in, pivot. So here, as we open, you really want to be careful. You can run your little toes. You can run your right foot along the ground. Then, as you step, you want to kind of sink a little bit deeper into this left foot and finally shift the weight and turn in the toe. Okay, the hand movements are not difficult. Let's review the first one, then we'll move into the second one. 1, en garde. 2, pivot en garde. 3, join, step, lead, pull, step, open, and push. Now, as we shift back, looks just like roll back with the other side. Okay? We're doing a roll back movement. Do you remember when we did, like after right push upward, we did roll back. So this is the same movement. As we come back, we roll back, which puts us into center position. As we pivot, we're now in center position. Now, this is pretty similar to the one we just did. As you step, you open or block, and as you shift, you push. From number 2, this is number 2. As you shift back, you roll back, turning the waist, turn in the toe to straight. This is roll back. Next, as you continue opening to your right, you relax into center position. As you step to the right, you block or open. And then finally shift and you do the same outwards movement. Okay, these two. Shifting back, palm en garde. En garde. Join, lead, pull, step, open, and push, turn in the back toe. Number 2, roll back, turn in the toe to 90. Relax into center as you shift to the left, to the right. Left foot turning to the right. Open as you step or step in and block, an overhead strike, and finally push. Okay, number 3 is to the next corner, which is over to my left. So the foot movements are simple. 1, shift the weight back and turn slightly to the left. 2, pivoting, pivot out to the right toe to the corner, 45. Shift the weight onto the foot, roll up the back toe, step towards your new direction or slightly to the left, and then shift the weight forward. Okay? Once again, from number 2. Shift the weight back, turning slightly to the left. Turning to the right, pivot out the right toe to face the corner or so. Shift the weight onto the right foot, roll up on the left toe. Step to the left, slightly to the left, not quite to the corner, and then shift the weight, turn in the back toe. Hand movements. As you shift back and turn, the hands drop down. Just basically dropping straight down in front of the body. I am now, remember Rose was punching in and I just I'm neutralizing with the back of the right forearm. 2, close her up, circle over, just making a little circle with the right hand, left hand stays in front of the body. Shift the weight, now I'm basically in center position or I'm getting ready to really pull her. I then step and open and finally attack. One, shift back and turning slightly to the left. 2, turning to the right, circle the hand over to basically center position for the top hand. Shift, we're basically in center position, roll up. Step forward with the left foot and open, and finally push. Okay, these 3. 1, shift back, en garde, weight on right. Weight on left, pivot. Step around to the right, bringing the energy over to the right. Step with the left foot, open, and push. Shifting back, roll back, turn in the left toe. Relax into center position as you pivot back onto the left foot. Open slightly to the right, step and block, and push. Number 3, shift back, turning slightly to the left. Circle the hands over, turning everything to the right. Shift forward, coming basically into center. Step forward and open, and push. Okay, the last one is the same as the second one. So the foot movement is I'm going to go back behind me. 1, shift and turn in to straight. Pivot, step off to the right, and shift. And that's the end of the 4 movements. Okay, number 4, again, it's just like number 2. Shift and turn in, shift, pivot, open. You can open here a little bit, then step off, sink your weight into the left, shift and turn. And the hand movements for this last one are the same as for number 2, exactly the same. As you shift back, you roll back. As you shift to the left, you relax into center. As you step, you block. As you shift, you attack. That's Fair Lady, works at Shuttles for the 4 corners. It's a big movement, isn't it? I know, it must seem at home, you know, on TV, I'm sure the space is a little bit strange, but let's put them all together. Let's just do all the foot movements together and see if it maybe becomes clear. Now we're going to go to basically to the 4 corners of the room. Not quite to the corners, but almost. Sometimes this is called, Fair Lady works at Shuttles, to the 4 corners, but it's not quite to the corner, but that's all right. Okay, so right now, here's our starting position. And this, we're starting to our left direction, straight to the wall. 1, shifting back, turning, turn in the toe to 90, straight. Shift to the left, pivot, and open. Now we're body facing basically to the corner, the right corner. Replace the foot, bring the weight onto the right foot, roll up onto the left toe. Step forward with the left foot slightly to the left, shift and turn in the back toe. So there's 1 corner. Now I'm going to go to the second corner, which is back. Turn back, shift back, turn to face directly behind the starting direction. Shift to the left foot, pivot, open the right toe. Open the right hip a bit, step towards your new direction with the right foot and shift. There's number 2. So we've gone to 1, 2. Next is number 3 over there. We shift back and open a bit. Turn out slightly to the right. Shift to the right, roll up on the back foot. Step towards your new direction and shift forward. Okay, corner number 4 is behind me over to the other side again. So, shift, turn, turn in the toe. Shift to the left, open the pivot on the right toe. Open your hip, step out towards your new direction with your right foot, shift and turn in the back toe. Yeah, got that? Okay, let's do it with the hand movements. Usually, the movements definitely become clearer when you put the hands and the feet together. It kind of gives you more of a sense of what you're doing, right? Okay. So it's important, you know, I take the time in the beginning to show you the application. It's very important to keep that in mind. It will help you to define what your body is doing. You know, there'll be a time where you can forget an opponent and you're only working internally. I keep saying that, and it's very important because I don't want you to get freaked out because you're learning, you know, to hit people and kick them and all of that. It's just a structure we're working with. But you know, it won't be long and you'll be forgetting that and you'll be working internally. Okay? See what? 1, left hand drops down, right hand palms, on guard. Shift, the hands basically stay the same. Step around, bringing everything over to the right. Then, the right hand turns palm down, pull slightly as you open, bringing the hand up, keep your shoulders down and relaxed, and finally carrying through with push. Keep your elbows down and relaxed. Corner number 2. The right hand's going to kind of twist upward as the left hand comes down, as you roll back. To turning, hands basically drop into center position, relaxing. When you step, the hand comes up, this time to block an incoming downward energy, and finally you then push. Corner number 3, you come back, both hands drop down as you come back, basically in front of the body. As you turn to the right hand circles up and around, coming over to the right side. Shift the weight onto the right foot, roll up the left toe. You're basically in center position. As you step, you open, and finally you push. I mean, I have to move a little bit away from the wall. Last corner is the same as the second. Roll back, turning to the right. Relax into center as you open. Step and block and push. Okay. Well, we certainly didn't get to the grasping the bird's tail after Fair Lady, but this is a very complicated movement, and this definitely took all of this time to look at it. So let's go through it once again. Shift back, palm, shift, pivot, step around, lead, pull, open, step, and push. Roll back, relax, open, block, and push. Shift back, neutralize to the left. Circle the energy over. Pull, step, open, and push. Roll back. Relax and open. Step and block and push. All right, fun, huh? Okay, I hope that you enjoy that. And we've got 2 TV stations going now here, so you've got lots of opportunities to view these shows. And I hope that you practice. Next week we'll review this and then add in some more as usual. So, good luck, and keep practicing. All right? And I'll just go out doing these movements as always.